What's going on, everyone? About 62% of stocks in the S&P 500 closed down in the red today, but don't let that fool you because it was one crazy explosive day in the market. Bitcoin ripped past its all-time high at $94,000 a coin, and we are seeing some stocks like MSTR go full rocket mode alongside many other stocks, and the craziness is just getting started because tomorrow is the big day as NVIDIA is set to report earnings. There is a lot of craziness and a lot of opportunities in the market right now, so make sure to stick with us all the way until the end because there's a lot to talk about. So, Tom, let's not waste any time and let's get right to it.
Yeah, the overall market actually did pretty well today. The SPY fell off quite a bit at open, and I was pretty worried at first. You know, there was lots of reports of Ukraine actually striking Russia with U.S. missiles, and I thought that this was a pretty scary thing to wake up to this morning, especially seeing the SPY sell off in the way that it did, because we've been seeing so much selling pressure lately. I was like, oh no, the floodgates might be opening, but as soon as the market opened, you know, the SPY shrugged it off and ended up running back up to 590, which blew my mind, above the highs of yesterday. So we saw a great recovery, and there was a good reason for this, Mike. There was a bunch of stocks obviously running, of course, in the crypto sector, but we even had big tech stocks like NVIDIA up 4.8%. Whenever the big dog's up almost 5%, it's hard for SPY to be red.
Especially pre-earnings too. NVIDIA is going to be one of the craziest stocks to watch, not only for tomorrow, but even over these next couple of weeks, because it is just such a crazy moving stock and it has such a large influence on the entire market. So that one is going to be super exciting to watch. And we're going to talk more about this as the video goes on. But I think like one of the hottest things in the market right now is the crypto industry. Bitcoin is at $94,000 right now, and it is running past all-time highs. Tom, what is going on with crypto right now?
Yeah, of course, we're still running up since the election, right? Trump has been playing a big role into crypto, as we've been talking about pretty much every day, because whenever you see a run like this out of Bitcoin, it is no joke, right? Just a couple months ago, Bitcoin was down around that like $55,000 low, $60,000 range. Now we're all the way up to that $93,000, $94,000 mark, as you said. And whenever you think about it, it's like, okay, there's a lot of stuff hitting Bitcoin all at one time. One cool thing today was that the options for some of the Bitcoin ETFs like IBIT started actually trading, which was awesome. I was glad to see that. There was actually some decent volume on the options chain with IBIT as well. So that'll be fun to see over the next few days. But we're just continuing to see crypto and Bitcoin just continue to be adapted into the overall economy. You know, whether it's Trump being positive with it, whether it's finally getting to trade options on IBIT, you know, the adaptation is coming, whether you like it or not.
Tom, I am so happy that we could finally trade options on spot Bitcoin ETFs. Thank you, God. Ticker symbol IBIT. I am so happy you have options now. And this is something that many investors have been waiting for such a long time. And like one of the main reasons for this is because, you know, the SEC like kind of, started out in a good way by offering like Bitcoin futures ETFs, which was nice, but it's just not the same as like a true spot Bitcoin ETF. So long story short, you can basically trade options on like Bitcoin now with ticker symbol IBIT, which will be super exciting going forward. But of course, you know, this won't trade 24/7 like Bitcoin does, but it's certainly a great start. So keep that in mind going forward. But one of the craziest moving stocks alongside this crypto explosion has been ticker symbol MSTR. This company has been going crazy as they have been buying Bitcoins quicker than anything else. Just between November 11th and November 17th, they bought 52,000 Bitcoins, Tom. And it doesn't look like they're trying to slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly. A $42 billion 3-year buying plan was announced less than 3 weeks ago, and they've already bought $6.63 billion worth. I mean, that is pretty insane there, Mike. And whenever you think about MicroStrategy, a lot of people are like, hey, why is this going up so much? You know, a lot of it could be their Bitcoin holdings really helping them, of course. So the more Bitcoin goes up, of course, it helps them in other ways. But obviously, their holdings are amazing as well. But they were up 12% 8% today again. We go to the daily chart. It's getting so astronomically high and just overbought in the short term, but that doesn't mean that it's going to stop right here. You know, we've seen runs like this last for months at a time, and I know that this one's already months into the move, but, you know, even in the past, Tesla has had like multi-year runs where it had some insane moves. So I'm going to be watching this one closely. Just, of course, be skeptical with it. Be very careful. The volatility is crazy. So if it does start to fall, the pullbacks get pretty astronomical also.
No doubt, and I want to give a very clear warning here. While people have made so much money trading this recent crypto explosion, make sure you protect yourself. Don't get greedy, and make sure when the trend, shows signs of shifting that you're not left holding the bag. Remember, there's nothing wrong with scaling out, and don't give the market back your gains. So I just want to make that very, very clear. But Tom, yet another stock is still going crazy, and that is ticker symbol SMCI. This has been one of the craziest stocks over the past year. Back in January, this stock was running up quicker than NVIDIA, and just last week, they were on the verge of getting delisted, and now it's up 30% today. What is going on here?
Yeah, I can't believe how much it pulled back from the highs, but, you know, whenever you have volatility, it begets more volatility, as you like to say, Mike, and it's up 31% today as they filed the compliance plan with the SEC. So I thought that was fantastic news. People kept waiting for this to come out yesterday. Of course, right when we get done recording the video yesterday, they come out with this. So they end up flying up today as much as they did, and whenever something's up 31%, you know that something crazy is going on. But you can tell that even with that 31% move, the stock really hasn't recovered that much from lows. Like, you can tell there's still a long way to go back up to recent levels with SMCI. And just to top it off, they also appointed another auditor after their last one left.
I'm glad they were able to find someone, because it was looking pretty rough there. No one wants to really represent this company in terms of an audit, because they're doing some sus things. But either way, the stock is moving up in a nice way, which is good to see. But to be honest, while the stock is having good moves, I would be pretty careful trading this one, because the options are priced in such an expensive way where it's like, realistically, if you want to trade this stock, you might be better off just trading the shares. But either way, keep it close on watch. Crazy moving stocks like SMCI have strong moves in both directions, and it's kind of in that phase of rebuilding some of its lost momentum. So definitely keep it on the radar. But a stock that is certainly moving in a much stronger way than SMCI is ticker symbol AI, and this one went full rocket mode today as it popped up by 24%, and this one actually had some pretty good news with Microsft.
Yeah, and this news is pretty insane. They're actually doing a partnership, which is pretty awesome. They're going to bring enterprise AI solutions to customers. So this sounds pretty awesome here with AI and a Microsft. Now, of course, Microsoft is a much larger company than AI, right? So who benefits more here? Definitely AI. Microsoft didn't move too much today. They did recover up a little bit, but you can see that this really helped AI. AI has been kind of stuck lately. It's been stuck down around these recent lows and in this range between like $20 and $30. And today we got that clear move up and through here. So great news for AI. Like I said, if you have news where you're partnering with one of the big dogs, it normally helps you quite a bit.
And then, Tom, don't forget about that recent big money trade with AI either that we talked about, just like a couple weeks ago, because that big money trade was for the 25 strike call options that expire on January 17th of 2025. It was a $4.5 million monster, and that big money trader's up nearly $5 million right now. So it was definitely a great day for them, and and AI will certainly be worth watching closely going forward. This stock has some pretty strong moves, and just like we saw today, when it has like good news, it can certainly run. I do see some resistance coming up around like 30, like a little bit over like $38 a share from that high back in March of 2024. But I'm sure you see many other levels that are worth watching.
Yeah, on this ticker symbol, there's been quite a few hits in the past. One of the biggest ones was right around 35 that I'll be watching for, definitely coming up. And then I do like that like $38.30 resistance right before 40, because I'm sure that 40 being a whole dollar level is going to be nice and psychological, of course. But whenever I think think of the big money play, Mike? He better start preparing for a knock on the door from the SEC, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is a super sus trade. That was one of the biggest big money trades that we covered in a while, and it's already up over 100%. So good point there. But Tom, I think it's now about that time to talk about the big news for tomorrow, which is this mega NVIDIA earnings report. Tomorrow after close, the big dog, NVIDIA, will report earnings, and this will be extremely important for multiple reasons. The first thing is that NVIDIA is such a crazy moving stock that, this earnings report is certainly going to be a big deal. The second thing is NVIDIA is actually the largest company in the world and has the heaviest influence on the stock market compared to any other company. So depending on how this stock moves, it's not just going to affect NVIDIA, it's going to affect the whole market. So this report will be crazy, and what intensifies it even more is that it's not like NVIDIA is in the middle of a dip right now. They are right at all-time highs, so if they want to rip through these levels, this report better be great.
Yeah, and they just had that issue with those Blackwell chips overheating as well, and I think some people are a little worried about that for the report. I don't think that many are. The thing that worried me the most was Kramer's comments about NVIDIA. Whenever he was positive about it, I'm like, uh-oh, this is not good. But, of course, NVIDIA has been a powerhouse all year long. It hasn't really shied away from the limelight either. Every time there's a big event or big earnings this year, we've seen some pretty insane runs. Of course, some earnings are better than others. I will note, though, on their last report that happened back in September, it did kind of kick off about a week's worth of selling there.
Yeah, and that's interesting. So let's, of course, keep NVIDIA close on the radar for tomorrow. This stock is going to move in a crazy way, and it's going to be a market-wide event. As we always say, don't feel the need to gamble and buy options ahead of earnings. It's a lot smarter to wait until the move already happens because it's just a lot easier to position yourself, and you don't get scammed by market makers overcharging for options that certainly aren't worth it. So consider waiting for the move after. Your account will certainly thank you for it. But yeah, definitely keep that on the radar. But as we look at SPY right now, we are bouncing up a little bit right here, and I thought this was pretty interesting, especially when we look at the seasonality for SPY right now. When we look at nearly 75 years worth of historical market data, we can see that November is a pretty strong month, generally speaking, but we do tend to see a dip right around this time of the month. So I thought that was a little bit interesting, but, it's not the end of the world either.
Yeah, and of course, we just dipped down on the SPY for 2 days or something, right as the seasonality starting to hit. So it looks like it's sticking at least pretty close to the seasonality right now. But as we know, the NVIDIA earnings will definitely make or break the next couple days. So if those end up being rough, we might see a bigger drop off here. But looking at some big levels for the SPY, with that pop back up today, we bounced off of that 584, 585 range and ended up coming right back through, which was a great sign. So for tomorrow, I'm watching a few levels. 590 has been on my radar for the past few days. SPY slowed up pretty close to 590 today around close. I'll be watching 592 overhead along with 594 and then 595 if we do end up getting there. Past that, I really don't see too much resistance back up to the $600 level. Of course, everyone's going to be watching $600 coming up, but in the short term, it's really good to see that bottom demand zone hold, Mike, right around 584, 585, where we've been talking all the time. And I will say, you've been talking about 584 quite a bit. We saw a perfect touch off that today. It could have been a great buying opportunity early on.
That is a really good sign for SPY, because if it wasn't able to hold this level, I think the market would have been very different today. So it is a really good sign for the bulls that SPY was able to hold that 584 level in a strong way. Like you said, $600 is a mega resistance level up ahead, but we are a little bit away from that, so it's not really too concerning at the moment. But either way, I feel like SPY is just kind of in this phase where it's really just waiting to see how NVIDIA reports, and depending on how that report is, we'll either be up for a retest of that $600 level, or unfortunately a retest of that 584 support.
Yeah, I'm sure hoping that it comes in great here, because I'd love to see an all-time high break rather than a big breakdown. But if there is a breakdown, we do need to be prepared for that, right? And if we do see a big breakdown like that start to happen over the next few days, there's a few stocks that we can look at to capitalize off that. Of course, you could look at puts on the SPY or on on some of these tech stocks that are falling with it, but you could also look at like SPXS, which inverses the SPY, or SQQQ, which inverses the NASDAQ, or you could also look at UVXY, which will pop up with the VIX, and we've seen some great movement out of UVXY even just last Friday, where from open, UVXY pretty much popped up 15%, which when you get moves like that intraday, it's definitely no joke.
Beautiful. All right, well, Tom, let's get right to some setups and predictions then. A stock that is certainly on my radar is ticker symbol ACHR. This is a stock that has had 2 recent big money trades, and the momentum is only building with this one. It popped up by over 16% today, and it showed a lot of great strength all throughout the day. It's also having some strong volume flow in as well, and the price action is just really strong. ACHR is certainly on my bullish radar, not only for the rest of this week, but absolutely for the next couple of weeks and months, given these 2 recent big money trades. Either way, I'm very excited to see how this one does, and it's certainly a crazy stock that has some pretty big moves.
Yeah, and it's awesome to finally see like some regulations coming as well. This is kind of what kicked off the buying with ACHR and Joby with the air taxi news a couple weeks ago, and even JOBY was running up to around recent highs. It hasn't been near as hot though as ACHR, and we gotta love the big money plays there, right? Everyone is loving those. Let us know in the comments how you guys are doing on your ACHR big money plays. But Mike, with my first setup, I'm looking at SoFi to the upside. It did pretty well today, and looking at the daily chart, it was up 3.5%, and it's actually right around recent resistance. So if we're able to break that resistance, go ahead and watch it to the upside, but we need to see a clear break of $14.50. This is huge. Look at the Bookmap. You can see a massive wall of sellers there, 151,000 shares at $14.50, and even like at $14.45 and $14.46, there's like 100,000 shares there too. So this is definitely a big wall, but if it breaks, I think that we could see another good run, because these growth stocks are just not slowing down right now.
Sounds great, and I will keep it on my radar as well. Another stock that is close on watch is CELH. Celsius, as I'm sure many of you know, has been a very hot company over the recent years, but its stock has been struggling quite a bit over the past couple of months. It fell from like nearly $100 a share all the way down to like $27 a share, which is where it's currently at. And it's finally in the process of starting to see some daylight, where it's starting to turn around a bit. The stock is pretty oversold, and now that it's like starting to meaningfully show some bullish price action, definitely excites me, because if we can see this bullish price action stay consistent, it can kind of shake out some of the shorts that have been hammering this one lower, as well as like, I guess you could say attract more attention for like a dip buy setup with this stock. Either way, I really like the short-term price action. I like how it was up nearly 6% on the day, and I also like how oversold it is. So either way, CELH is definitely on my bullish radar, not just for like the short term, but even for like the next couple weeks and months.
Yeah, I will definitely be watching CELH as well. I've been looking at it very closely on this dip. I might even start to average into it as it starts to drop off just a little bit more. Or if it doesn't, obviously, then I'll be averaging in a little higher. But nonetheless, I'm looking to average into CELH over the next year or so as well. With my next setup, I'm looking at ERIC, which is Ericsson. Ericsson's coming up off of a recent dip, and I think that this move higher was amazing today. It was up 3%. This is more of a momentum play, though. We really need to see good momentum continue up off of this dip tomorrow. If the momentum starts fading and like we do not get back above $8.40, then this will be a no play. But whenever a stock like this, which is only $8, gets moves like this, it can have some pretty good runs. So I'll be watching Ericsson back to the upside, and you can see on the daily that when this stock trends, it can generally trend in a direction for weeks to months at a time.
Sounds great. All right, well, I think we are all set for today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have HIMS to the upside.
HIMS, I love this one in the short term. It's always at the top of my watch list. If it breaks 23.80, watch it to the upside tomorrow.
All right, with the next one, we have Netflix also to the upside.
NFLX, love it in the short term. New all-time highs. If they're able to re-break 875 tomorrow, keep watching them up.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Lemonade also to the upside.
Yeah, I think this one's been under the radar. It was up 17%. If they can break out above $40.55, keep watching them higher.
All right, so we have Lemonade, Netflix, and Hims on the radar for potential upside momentum plays tomorrow. If and only if these stocks break through the levels listed, they are on watch for some upside plays where the stronger and more consistent these stocks move, the better the setups become. These stocks are crazy and they are volatile, so make sure to be more than willing to adjust with the trend changes as they happen. But either way, keep these stocks close on the radar. And besides that, let's jump right into today's $1.8 million big money trade. And we are looking at ticker symbol DDOG. Datadog is a stock that the big money bought the 140 strike call options on that expire on February 21st of 2025. This is a pretty big money trade coming in at, just under $2 million. The strike price is a little bit out of the money, but these options do have some time to them. The stock popped up a decent amount today by 6%, and it's getting closer to retesting that resistance level right around 138. And this is also coming at a time where we are seeing some pretty good strength out of the tech sector as a whole. So pretty interesting big money play here, but I'll also say it's definitely like an aggressive play because the big money's looking for like a big move here in, a reasonable amount of time, but that 140 strike, isn't super close to the money.
Yeah, and if the NVIDIA earnings end up doing well this week, we could see a good pop out of tech. Maybe they're looking for the earnings to, boost this one up this week. I mean, there is a bit of time out to February with this one, but if the earnings are hot and tech continues, I could see Datadog breaking out of this recent range as well. There has been like a short-term range where the Datadog has been stuck in, and you can see even that lower support right around 121 has been amazing. It was like a nice triple bottom. So now we're starting to break out to the upper end of this range, and I could actually see it getting closer to that 138, if not even 140 mark, considering we're seeing so many stocks make new all-time highs lately. So I like the play quite a bit. I love how it's breaking out of this range, and this support hold is very important as well at 121. That gives me a lot more confidence.
Sounds good. So either way, keep Datadog close on watch going forward. But before we go deeper into today's video, we have to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Sayin, in the StockedUp Discord, who had an awesome post today, basically saying, Mike and Tom, I just joined the StockedUp family today, and although I've been following the YouTube channel for a month now, you guys are the best, and he posted some great profit screenshots with some AI call options and some ACHR call options as well. So this is awesome to see, and a huge shout out to you, Sayin. Keep up the great work going forward, and it was an explosive day in the profits channel. Holy crap. Seriously, like when you scroll throughout this profits channel, it was loaded up. So that was awesome to see. If you guys are into short-term trading, definitely check out that first link in the description in the comments down below to get access to the StockedUp trading floor. Basically, with that, you get full access to our army of custom robots. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long, join our weekly live events, and access everything you need as a short-term trader. It's the place to be if you're into short-term trading. Definitely check it out. It'll be that first link in the description and the comments down below. But besides that, it is an exciting time to be a trader. The market is moving in some pretty crazy ways, and I have a feeling we're set for an explosive rest of the year, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget about the NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. Be ready. Be careful gambling on them, though. As we know, playing earnings can be risky, but as we know, it can also be pretty fun sometimes, too, if I'm being honest. But at the end of the day, be careful, guys. Make sure it aligns with your risk and everything, because it's a wild time out there, right? Hopefully, we see some new all-time highs tomorrow.
Let's get it. If you guys are new to the channel, consider obliterating the subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. In every single video, we cover the most important news, information, earnings, big money trades and everything you have to know for short-term trading in usually 20 to 25 minutes or less. If you demolish that subscribe button, you'll hear from us more often. So consider joining the Stocked Up crew by doing that. And again, if you are into short-term trading, definitely check out the Stocked Up trading floor with the first link in the description and the comments down below. But besides that, thank you all so much for watching, and let's crush it in the market tomorrow.